We're here to give advice, tips, tricks as to how to actually achieve your wish, your goals in a way that's sustainable, long term, and can bring you happiness. If that makes sense.
Exactly. We're all about persistence here, right? So, as good as New Year's resolutions are and having a target, what's important to us is that, January comes around, you guys are super excited. In the context of a lot of, people who come to a podcast like this called GymStreak, you're probably interested in fitness and health. So chances are you have some kind of fitness and health goal. And sorry, that was our new camera guy, Harry. Just messing up the show, aren't you, man? Well, just messing up the show. The power of editing. The power of editing. The power of editing. Keep this in. He's gonna be editing this.
It's okay. He tripped over the last camera guy that's now in the box.
Before I was so rudely interrupted. What was I talking about?
You were talking about January comes along.
January comes along. You have goals. Our focus is that when December 2020 comes along, you're still doing those goals. And that's what's really important to us. And what we think is probably the most important idea. So it's not necessarily having these massive, massive goals that you start, but then partway through the year, kind of, falter and stop. Our kind of focus is how can you make it through the year with your New Year's resolutions.
What do you think, though, is the problem that people drop those goals so quickly? When they make a New Year's resolution and after 2-3 weeks, they just kind of go back onto Doritos or, sorry for promotional branding, chips, crisps.
We'll bleep that.
bleep that, yeah. Go.
Well, I think it depends on the individual, right? In many cases, in the sense of like, for someone like me, if I'm setting a goal, I'm setting a target, I feel like I always set up like a big thing. So it's like, I'm not just going to start going to the gym. I'm going to start going to the gym. I'm going to change I change everything all at once, and then just go all in. But then what that can lead, and what's led me to do over, many, many years is that because I've tried to change so many variables at the same time, you get overwhelmed with having to sustain this like level of change. So what's going to happen is that somebody is going to set a goal. They're going to download GymStreak, download it on the App Store, which we very much encourage. They're going to download GymStreak. They're going to get a gym membership. They're going to buy some yoga pants or whatever. They're going to get some gym gloves. They're going to commit to waking up at 5 a.m. in the morning to go to the gym. And these are great things. But I think you need to be very self-aware and like understand that, identify the most important thing that you need to do and do that thing. What do you think?
I think the main problem with the New Year's resolution is kind of like a festive sprinkle on top of the I'll do it tomorrow problem. Mm-hmm. So the scenario with the I'll do it tomorrow is kind of your brain is tricking you into thinking like, oh, you know what, it doesn't matter that I don't do it today, I'll do it tomorrow. And then tomorrow comes and you do the same. So I've read this really interesting story about, imagine yourself driving in a car and you're driving off a cliff. You're driving off a cliff. The cliff is there somewhere, but you don't know how long it would take for you to reach it. And what you do is that you tell yourself, oh, I'm just going to swerve off to the left or right at some point, but not just yet. But yet the cliff is there. So it kind of doesn't really make sense. So why would you wait to, roll off that cliff instead of swerving right now? Now, add a friend in that car and imagine you're not driving the car, your friend's driving that car. What would you say? Would you wait for him to, carry on driving forward? No, you go like, what are you doing? You're insane. Just drive up, no, not drive up. Sorry. Just swerve off to the left. Yeah, no, don't drive off. No. Yeah. And I feel like that's the kind of the same thing that happens at New Year's, but also added with everything that you said is like people taking on too much and now they start to juggle with a lot of things. They don't realize what their priorities are, where the most value lies for them internally, and then they start getting lost. They start to get overwhelmed with how much they have to do, how much they have to juggle with. And that's why everything kind of like comes to a critical point and then drops and stops.
Yeah.